Good evening and welcome. Before we begin tonight's journey, I'd like to ask you something. Where are you listening from? And what time is it where you are? Feel free to share in the comments. I'm always curious to know where these stories reach and how you came across this channel. Tonight, I invite you to travel back in time, not to the chaos of empire or the noise of history books, but to the stillness of ancient Rome after dark. You'll hear the soft rhythm of fountains and the calm breath of a world long gone, preserved only in memory. As the city sleeps, we'll walk quietly through torch-lit streets, past temples, gardens, and stone courtyards. Settle in, and let us begin our night in ancient Rome. This is not a lesson. It's an atmosphere, a place to rest, to imagine, and to let go of the day behind you. So take a deep breath. The lanterns of the Forum. The marble beneath your sandals still radiates the warmth of the day. Rome held the sun close all afternoon, and now its stones exhale that heat in slow, fading breaths. You step forward carefully, feeling every worn edge of the road, shaped by generations of feet, citizens, soldiers, traders, and now yours. From a nearby villa, a wind chime made of tiny bronze coins sings gently in the breeze. They tinkle together softly, a forgotten currency of sound, floating on the night air like a lullaby from the gods. The walls along the streets are etched with layers of time, inscriptions faded by age, symbols of households long gone, messages scratched into plaster by playful children or poets whose verses never reached scrolls. Some lines you cannot read, heated debate, cloaks stirring, the low scrape of sandals against marble floors. Beside it, a tiny loaf of bread, perhaps a plea, perhaps a thank you. You'll never know. And leaves others balanced within nooks in the stone. A single rose, slightly wilted now. Their light is golden and soft, but strong enough to reveal details others would miss. But the scent of their goods still lingers faintly in the air. Spiced wine, leather sandals, baskets of dried dates, honeyed almonds. The market sleeps, but its memory lingers. You imagine the way light must filter in during the day, and how now, by night, those same walls hold only silence. Others still glow faintly in the lantern light. Praises to Jupiter, love letters, market listings, or political graffiti long since out of date. Great shadows stretch across the open square. Shadows not of monsters, but of temples and triumphal arches. This one is smooth, cold to the touch, carved with the images of men marching, carrying standards, speaking to crowds. There, emperors dreamed. Here, you do. Its circular shape is modest among the grandeur, but its flame is eternal. The fire within flickers through narrow slits in the wall. You pause near it, just long enough to feel its warmth. You follow the sound like it's calling you. Their stone eyes do not blink, and yet they seem to watch you as you walk past. You can smell fresh herbs, and somewhere, bread cooling on a wooden windowsill. The wooden frame is dark, warm, familiar. It is quieter, but not empty. It feels thick with memory. The hinges creak gently as you open it. Inside, your bed waits, simple, clean, and cool. A clay jug tips slowly in a fountain, spilling water in a rhythmic loop. His armor is half unfastened, his helmet hanging from his side. He sees you but does not speak, that if it ever goes out, Rome itself would fall. But tonight, it burns. Someone is playing just for themselves, perhaps under candlelight. You can't see them, but the notes fall like drops of warm rain into the silence. The air changes here. They carry small clay jars and speak in a dialect you don't fully catch. He's not on duty, not really. The buildings begin to open up, taller now, more regal. He just nods, a quiet bond between people who share the same night. Their sandals click lightly on the stone, and then they disappear behind a colonnade. You hear them for a moment longer, and then nothing. You pass under a low archway, where vines curl from the rooftop above, reaching down like green fingers into the space between buildings. A cat watches you from above, still, alert, golden-eyed, then vanishes into the dark with a flick of its tail. Ahead, the forum draws closer. You stop near a tall column, one of many that lines the forum's central path. To your left, the Curia stands, the Senate House. Its heavy bronze doors are shut now, but you imagine the voices inside. You continue walking slowly through the forum. The oil lamps here are more frequent, more ceremonial, some housed in elegant stands carved with vines. At the base of the temple of Castor and Pollux, you notice something often overlooked. A small offering left by someone earlier in the day. Your steps take you down a narrower path now, a road once lined with merchant stalls, long since packed up for the night. You find a low stone bench and sit. From here, you can see the Palatine Hill rising in the distance, its palaces and villas resting quietly like sleeping lions. The breeze returns, cooler now, and carries with it the far-off sounds of a lyre being plucked gently. The lanterns sway slightly. The firelight dances across your face. And in that moment, Rome feels eternal, not because it conquers, but because it endures. Quietly, softly, through nights like this one. A group of young women walk by, their laughter hushed but bright. Further along, a soldier leans against a wall near the Arch of Septimius Severus. You rise again and walk toward the Temple of Vesta. They say the Vestals tend the flame day and night. And that is enough. You wander now, not toward a destination, but into stillness. You turn down a quieter path. No more monuments, just small homes and private gardens. At last, you find yourself back near your own door. You lie back slowly. Outside, Rome breathes. The forum still glows. The fire still burns. And your story, this night, now becomes part of hers. Rest now, citizen of Rome. Let the city's heartbeat slow your own. Let the marble cradle your dreams. And when morning comes, the eternal city will still be here, waiting for you. The dreaming Palatine. The night grows deeper now, and the city of Rome settles into a hushed calm, as if the world itself were holding its breath. Yet far above the sprawling streets and grand forum, the Palatine Hill rises quietly, a sentinel watching over the eternal city. You begin your ascent along a winding path paved with ancient stones, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. A soft rustle stirs among their branches, as a nightingale's delicate song weaves through the stillness, its notes pure and haunting. The bird's melody carries far, wrapping itself around the stones and trees like a comforting lullaby. Each step echoes softly in the cool night air, your sandals brushing gently against the uneven surface. You pause to lean against the rough bark of a cypress tree, feeling its steady presence. Though time has softened its grandeur, the faded marble columns and crumbling walls still hint at the majesty that once was. Around the fountain, night-blooming jasmine releases a sweet, intoxicating fragrance, filling the air with softness and calm. The distant murmur of the Tiber River blends with the occasional bark of a dog and the soft footsteps of a night watchman making his rounds. Her white robes glow softly in the lantern light, and her presence carries a quiet dignity. All these sounds come together as a gentle symphony, lulling your mind into peaceful reflection. You inhale deeply, savoring the simple reminder of life continuing amidst the ruins of power. You reach out to touch a pillar, its cool surface smooth beneath your fingers, as if holding the memories of whispered conversations and quiet moments long past. Her eyes, calm and focused, reflect the flickering flames of nearby lamps. For a moment, you share in this sacred ritual, feeling the weight of tradition and faith that has kept Rome's heart beating through centuries. Emperors and slaves, poets and soldiers, lovers and philosophers, all have been cradled by this ancient hill. The moonlight reveals the delicate shapes of lavender, rosemary, and marjoram, their scents blending in a fragrant tapestry. The soft, melodic notes drift gently through the night, weaving a delicate spell of calm and serenity. Somewhere nearby, the gentle trickle of a small stream threads through the rocks, its water whispering secrets from the hills above. You reach a terrace overlooking Rome, where the vast cityscape unfolds beneath you, a living tapestry of light and shadow. A single candle flickers in a bronze holder, casting warm light onto the carved features of the god's serene face. The scent of wild herbs, thyme, rosemary, and sage drifts faintly on the breeze, mingling with the crispness of night. Olive trees stand like silent sentinels along the path, their silver leaves shimmering faintly in the pale glow of the moon. The glow of lanterns spills from windows, casting pools of soft light on the cobblestones. Your wooden door creaks softly as you enter, and the warmth of your home wraps around you. As you climb higher, the air grows cooler, fresh with the scent of pine and earth. Their stone faces are serene and timeless, eyes fixed eternally on the unfolding centuries. The distant hum of the city feels soft and distant here, like a heartbeat beneath a blanket. The moonlight bathes them in a gentle silver glow, casting delicate shadows that flicker and dance as the night breeze moves through the garden. Ahead, the ruins of the Domus Augustana emerge from the shadows, the palace once home to Emperor Augustus himself. A soft breeze stirs the air, carrying the faint aroma of freshly baked bread from a nearby kitchen. Deeper into the palace grounds, you find yourself surrounded by statues of gods and heroes. You wander into a small courtyard where a marble fountain murmurs softly, its crystal clear water shimmering like liquid starlight. Here, you settle onto a low bench, letting the quiet of the garden seep into your bones. Suddenly, the soft crunch of footsteps approaches, and from the shadows emerges a figure, a Vestal Virgin, guardian of the sacred flame. She moves gracefully to the edge of the fountain, dipping her fingers into the cool water and lifting them in silent prayer. Without a word, she turns and slips away into the darkness, leaving behind a sense of reverence and peace. Rising from the bench, you continue your journey through the gardens, the path winding among carefully tended beds of herbs and flowers. The gentle rustle of leaves and the occasional call of an owl punctuate the silence, while the city below twinkles like a constellation of earthly stars. The winding Tiber snakes through the city, its dark waters reflecting the shimmering glow of oil lamps and fires. Taking a deep breath, you feel the cool night air fill your lungs, carrying with it the stories of countless souls who have walked these paths. You begin your descent, the path leading you through a quiet courtyard where a lone musician plucks the strings of a lyre. You pause to listen, allowing the music to wash over you, a tender bridge connecting past and present, waking and dreaming. Continuing down the stone steps, you come upon a small shrine dedicated to Apollo, the god of light and music. You pause to offer a silent greeting, feeling the soothing presence of this sacred place settle over your heart. At last, you reach the base of the Palatine once more, where the quiet streets of Rome welcome you back. You make your way home along familiar paths, the night embracing you like an old friend. Lying down on your simple bed, you close your eyes and let the images of the Palatine drift through your mind, the shimmering leaves, the murmuring fountain, the soft song of the lyre. And as sleep gently claims you, you know that Rome's ancient heart still beats softly, guarding your dreams. Rest now, traveler of time. Let the peace of the Palatine carry you deeper into the night. Tomorrow, the eternal city will still be here, waiting, whispering, dreaming. Voices of the baths, the hour is late. Rome breathes in a slower rhythm now, as if the city itself were exhaling after a long sunlit day. The streets are hushed, the stone buildings casting long shadows under the silver moon. You step carefully through the quiet lanes, each footfall echoing softly in the warm summer air. You're walking not toward sleep, but deeper into it, toward a place where time slows, where walls still remember, and where the ancient rituals of body and spirit are honored through heat, water, and stillness. Their forms are softened by time, but even now they stand with majesty, solemn and proud, like old sentinels watching over the city. You are walking toward the Thermae of Caracalla, a soft, steady warmth that seeps into your clothes, your skin, your bones. The stone beneath your feet is warm too, heated from the fires that power the heart of the baths, and from the day's long sun now fading. From afar, the great baths of Caracalla rise like a silent mountain of stone and steam. Massive arches curve into the night sky, Columns taller than trees line the entry, and mosaics shimmer beneath your feet, barely catching the dim light of flickering torches that line the walls. Tiny pieces of tile, blue, red, gold, catch the glow and sparkle like hidden stars beneath your sandals. As you approach the gates, the first sensation that greets you is warmth. The heat here is not intense, but gentle, like an embrace. The room hums with quiet, not silence, but a sort of deep living hush. A hum of pipes and breath and trickling water. The sort of sound that fills the gaps in your mind where thoughts once were. Empty now, except for a few robes folded neatly on benches. The person breathes slowly, rhythmically, like the gentle rise and fall of waves. You do not speak. You simply pass, acknowledging them with a soft nod. In this space, words would be too heavy. The humidity is complete. Your breath slows instinctively, adapting to the new pace. Tall mirrors line the walls, but they are not for vanity. They are silent, reflective guardians of routine, ritual, and rhythm. The scent is unmistakable. Burning wood, perfumed oils, steamed minerals, and something earthy, ancient stone soaked in centuries of moisture. Through that circle of night, a thin column of moonlight falls, slicing through the steam like a divine spotlight. It just sways quietly, as though even fire knows to be calm. Not out of modesty, but ceremony. You kneel, reach out, and run your fingers through the surface. This water has intention. It lifts you. Mosaic patterns of Poseidon and Neptune swirl beneath the water's surface, their forms shifting beneath the ripples like forgotten myths. It stills you. It listens. The sensation is instant, a deep, slow warmth that travels through your arm, up your shoulder, down your back. There are no hours in the caldarium, just pulses, inhales, exhales. You fold it and place it on the bench. The doors open slowly. You are swallowed by the apoditerium, the vast marble changing room. You remove your robe, slowly, methodically. You pass through a high-arched doorway, and the warmth deepens, richer now, thicker. The tepidarium welcomes you. Its walls glisten with moisture. You step further in, your bare feet making soft slaps against the polished marble floor. Steam swirls at ankle height, dancing lazily. You sit in the warm silence of the laconicum, the resting room. Oil lamps flicker. A low fire crackles. A servant pours you a small cup of herbal water. Thyme, mint, honey. And you sip slowly, tasting the garden with every drop. You bow slightly to the chamber as you leave, a silent thank you to heat, water, and stillness. The melody rises like mist and settles over you like a lullaby. The shiver is immediate, a lightning thread through your spine, but it's also renewing, sharpening, awakening something gentle in you. Somewhere in the city, a night owl calls. You thank them with your eyes and wrap yourself as you walk toward the frigidarium. The rhythm of your footsteps has changed, softer, slower, more sure. A thin layer of mist clings to everything, to the walls, to the mosaics of dolphins and gods, to your arms and neck. The torches flicker gently in their sconces, their light smudged and softened by the vapor in the air. The flame doesn't speak here. You notice a figure sitting on a bench, eyes closed, arms resting loosely on their knees. The great basin of cold water gleams like obsidian under torchlight. Statues of Neptune and sea creatures flank the pool, their stony gazes calm and cold. You walk slowly to the edge. Your eyes move to the far side of the room, where large bronze doors open to the caldarium, the hot room. The heat greets you before you even step through, thick, enveloping, full. It settles on your skin like a second layer of flesh. You step inside. The caldarium is vast. A great domed ceiling arches high above, with a single open oculus that reveals the starry sky above. Beneath the dome, a circular pool steams gently, its surface disturbed only by soft ripples from a lone bather moving slowly, like a thought forming in the still mind. You approach the water, the stone beneath your feet almost too hot to stand on. You slide in. The water holds you, not like a lake or a sea. Every breath you take slows further. The walls curve around you like the belly of some ancient beast, safe, warm, breathing. A few drops of water fall from the ceiling. Not leaks, but little blessings from the stone itself, warmed by fire, kissed by steam. You close your eyes. Time ends here. Eventually, your body tells you it's time to leave, not because of discomfort, but because contrast is part of the ritual. You rise slowly, water trailing from your skin, dripping like jewels onto the stone. A young attendant nearby nods silently and hands you a linen cloth, soft and slightly scented. The corridor there is cooler, darker. The fire is behind you now, and the chill begins to thread itself around your limbs slowly. Then you enter the cold room. The air here is crisp, shocking at first, but clean. Your breath catches and smooths. You kneel, draw the cold water in your hands, and let it spill across your neck, your chest. You submerge slowly, inch by inch. The water wraps you again, not like a blanket, but like a sheet of starlight, quiet, centering. You sit on the edge of the basin afterward, cloth wrapped tightly, the steam of your body curling into the air. From somewhere distant, a musician begins to play, a single lyre, the strings plucked gently, slowly. You feel restored, not just clean, but lighter. You let your thoughts wander, not far, just around the room, through the arches, along the edge of your breath. Eventually, you rise. Your robe waits folded neatly, still warm from the stone. You dress slowly, ritualistically. You step outside into the night. The air feels cooler now, but your body is warm from within. The stars above Rome blink quietly. The trees sway. You walk slowly through the empty streets, past shuttered shops, past shadowed temples. You reach your door. It opens with a soft creak. Your home is quiet. Your bed is waiting. You lie down, eyes closing before your head even meets the pillow. And as your breath slows, you remember the water, the marble, the hush, the flicker of flame, the silence of stone. You remember the baths, and they remember you. Sleep now, child of the Tiber. Let the warmth stay with you. Let the steam and the silence carry you into dreams. Rome continues to hum, and you are part of her rhythm now. Good night. The garden of echoes. The hour drifts past midnight now. The air is still, but not lifeless, filled with the soft pulse of the city that dreams while awake. Distant footsteps echo gently in the alleys. A dog barks once, then falls silent again. Somewhere, a fountain continues its eternal song, spilling water over worn stone like a lullaby whispered to no one. But with contemplation, you find yourself wandering farther from the city center, past sleeping homes and shuttered shops, toward a part of Rome that breathes not with commerce. A wrought iron gate appears ahead, tucked between two tall cypress trees. It creaks open, inviting you in. You've arrived at one of the city's most hidden treasures, a garden belonging to a philosopher, tucked in the back of a villa, open only to friends and night wanderers. You step inside, and immediately the world changes. The air in the garden is cooler. A kind of silence hangs here, alive with feeling. Not cold, just calm. You hear the chirp of a cricket, the rustle of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze, the trickle of a small marble fountain. The garden glows under the moonlight. Stone paths wind lazily through beds of lavender, rosemary, and soft moss. Torches mounted along low walls burn faintly, their flames flickering like sleepy eyes. Benches made of smooth limestone sit beneath fig trees, their leaves rustling softly above you. You walk slowly now, as if every step might wake something ancient and sacred. In the center of the garden stands a statue of Minerva, goddess of wisdom, robed and serene, her gaze cast downward toward a shallow reflecting pool. For a moment, you see yourself not as you were, not as you will be, but simply as you are. The water is still, save for a single drop falling from the beak of a carved owl above her shoulder. You stand beside the pool. Beneath it, a small marble table and scrolls left open. Perhaps someone was here just moments ago, reading in the moonlight and then slipping off to sleep. Your reflection, moonlit and quiet, stares back, not with judgment, but curiosity. Present, you don't read them aloud. You don't need to. Just touching them connects you to the quiet search for truth that has echoed here for centuries. Its glow paints shifting shadows across a mosaic floor. Breathing, here, you wander again. Each corner of the garden reveals something new, something gentle. A pergola draped in ivy, where vines sway softly in the breeze. You run your fingers along the parchment. The words are Greek, lines from Epictetus, or perhaps Plato. Some are poems. Some are questions with no answers. You follow the path deeper. To your left, a low wall covered in vines hides a small alcove where a lantern burns behind colored glass amber, rose, and emerald. Some are prayers. You sit there for a while. No one comes. No one leaves. You are alone in the way a candle is alone, quietly burning, perfectly complete. Above it, a fig tree leans over protectively, its branches almost like arms offering shade, shelter, sleep. A soft wind stirs again. You rise and walk toward a grove of olive trees at the garden's edge. Just the firm embrace of the earth, holding you gently in place. Their branches stretch like fingers to the stars, and beneath them lie worn stepping stones etched with verses in Latin. One reads, "They simply shine." You feel no discomfort, no chill. To know peace is to know nothing can be held forever. Another, "The stars do not ask why." The moon, nearly full, casts a soft light over everything, silver on leaves, on skin, on stone. You linger on that one, then keep walking. At the far edge of the garden is a marble bench nestled into the wall. You sit still, trying to trace it, but it doesn't grow louder. It simply exists, like the wind, like the stars, like the garden itself. The stone is cool beneath you, but your body has adjusted to the night. You lean your head back and look upward. It is found in stillness. Past the reflecting pool, where your image no longer stares back, but simply floats. The sky here is endless. The stars, now fully visible beyond the city's reach, shimmer like dust scattered by the gods. You let your eyes close, and for a while, you listen, not just to sounds, but to the absence of urgency, to the stillness between breaths, to the quiet rhythm of your heart, now slow and settled, more familiar, not because it has changed, but because you have, to the ancient silence of a garden that has heard 1,000 thoughts and 1,000 dreams and never once asked for anything in return. Then, something else. A voice, soft, distant, familiar. It isn't speaking words. It's more a memory, an echo of laughter, or a phrase you once heard and forgot. And you realize, perhaps this is what the philosopher meant when he said, "Truth is not found in seeking." You smile, not because of what you've found, but because you don't need to look anymore. Eventually, you rise. You walk once more past the statue of Minerva, her face lit now with moonlight and calm. You reach the garden gate and turn back for one last breath, one last listen, one last look, and then you step outside again into the Roman night. The street feels warmer now. You carry the silence with you, not as a weight, but as a light, a warmth inside your chest, a whisper that says you're always welcome back. Sleep now, quiet soul. You have wandered through a garden where time forgets to pass. You have sat beneath stars and beside wisdom. Let your thoughts slow like the evening wind. Let your breath soften like the petals of rosemary. And may your dreams be as gentle as the steps you took through the garden of echoes. A walk along the Tiber. The hour is late, deeper than midnight now, and yet the city does not feel fully asleep. Rome doesn't slumber the way smaller towns might. It doesn't shut its eyes completely. It breathes. Slowly, softly, with the rhythm of old stone and slow-moving rivers, with the echo of sandals on cobblestones and the whisper of trees stirred by the breath of night. You step away from the forum now, leaving behind the columns, arches, and temples in exchange for something older still, not older in years, but in essence. You're heading toward the lifeblood of Rome, toward the quiet, pulsing artery that has carried stories, bodies, merchants, secrets, and prayers for centuries. Faint flickers of torchlight glow in the distance. A wall sconce left burning, or perhaps a watchman making his rounds. Most of the homes are silent, their courtyards empty, the stones still warm from the day's heat. The riverbank slopes gently down to your right, a soft incline dotted with weeds, small reeds, and the occasional fig tree leaning forward as if listening. The scent of dust and citrus hangs lightly in the air, carried on a breeze that moves slowly through the city like an invisible hand brushing across rooftops. The Tiber River. The path winds gently downward through dim alleyways, past shuttered taverns and sleeping homes. How many priests carried sacred urns, or how many philosophers stopped here, mid-step, struck by a thought too large to carry home. The stone is cool beneath you. Behind you, the city rises in layers, terraces and temples, rooftops and domes, all resting beneath a blanket of darkness and stars. The creaking of old wooden doors fades, replaced by something slower, the thick lapping of water against stone. The river is not fast tonight. It moves like syrup, dark and heavy, reflecting the moon in long silvery lines, broken only by the occasional ripple or the flutter of a night bird skimming the surface. As you draw closer to the river, the sounds shift. You step out onto the wide riverside path. The stones here are flatter, smoother, worn by centuries of sandals and cartwheels, boots and hooves. There's no one visible aboard, but a small lantern glows from its bow, steady and warm, casting a golden path that trails behind it. You imagine the man steering it from the back, half asleep, humming a song passed down from his grandfather. A song the river has heard 1,000 times before. A weathered statue of the river god Tiberinus reclines inside, carved from smooth marble, worn by centuries of rain and touch. Coins glint faintly at the base of the alcove, left as offerings. You pause, reach into your pocket, and place a small bronze coin there yourself, not out of obligation, but as a gesture of respect. The bridge is empty tonight. The torches that normally light its path are unlit, but the moonlight is enough. You begin to cross it slowly, your footsteps echoing gently, your hands trailing along the rough edges of the stone wall. The Tiber, in this hour, feels ancient and wise. The city is quieter here, removed from the bustle of daytime. To the north, the river bends toward the hills and forests. To the south, it slips past the Aventine and into the far reaches of the city, where docks and shipyards sleep beneath linen sails. You sit at the base of one such stair, staring out at the dark trees lining the opposite shore. The noises are smaller, more personal. The occasional creak of wood from the docks. A soft splash as a turtle slips into the water. The rustle of leaves above as a breeze moves through a tall cypress. Its waters are dark, but not threatening, more like velvet than ink. Something like memory, moments, memories. How many soldiers marched past in silence, headed toward the ships docked below. You can make out the great arc of the Milky Way, stretching like a pale ribbon across the sky. It reminds you of the river, above and below, two currents always flowing. You watch it flow, hypnotic in its movement. There is something mesmerizing about rivers at night. They carry not just water, but time. You imagine how many nights like this the Tiber has witnessed. How many lovers walked this path beneath moonlight? You pause and sit on a low stone wall near the edge of the path, letting your legs dangle just slightly above the slope. But they hold, as they always have. Before you, the river whispers softly, telling stories in a language only the night can understand. Its fur is light brown, its ears twitching at your approach. It lifts its head, blinks at you once, and then settles back down without a sound. A barge floats slowly past in the distance. It moves without sound, a ghostly shape cut against the shimmer of the moonlit water. The planks are uneven, some warped, others slick with dew. The barge moves slowly, lazily, and disappears behind the curve of the embankment. You remain seated for a long time, the stone warming beneath your body, the wind brushing gently across your skin, bringing with it 1,000 subtle scents: baked clay, old rope, fig, smoke, and something else. Eventually, you rise. You continue walking down the riverside path, letting your fingers drift across the stone rail as you go, with gravity, with time, something deeper than thought, older than language. You pass by a small shrine built into the wall. You close your eyes for a moment and bow your head, not to pray, just to listen. As you walk again, the Pons Fabricius comes into view, one of the oldest bridges in the city, its archways perfectly mirrored in the dark water below. From the center of the bridge, you stop. The Tiber stretches out in both directions, silver black, wide, steady. Below you, the water churns softly, not with violence, but with patience. You cross the rest of the bridge and find yourself on the Isla Tiberina, the island in the middle of the river. It's quiet here, softer. The cobbled paths wind between low buildings and a small temple, with worn steps leading down to the water's edge. A small breeze picks up. It moves through the reeds and across your shoulders, cooling your skin just enough to make you aware of your breath, slow and steady, in and out. You look up at the stars. They are brighter here, away from the denser parts of the city. You begin to imagine what the gods must see from above, not Rome the empire, not its walls, legions, or politics, but this, a single person, on a single night, sitting by the river, listening to the silence. As you rise once more and continue your walk along the southern edge of the island, you notice a stray dog resting near the temple steps. You smile and keep walking. The dog does not follow. It has found its own place of peace tonight. Eventually, you reach the far end of the island, where a wooden pier extends into the river. It creaks beneath your feet as you step onto it, not dangerously, but with age. You walk slowly to the end of the pier, and you sit. The river flows beneath you. The stars glow above. And in this quiet space, between water and sky, between stone and dream, you feel something settle inside you. A stillness, a belonging, a sense that you are part of something ancient immense and kind. Sleep now, traveler of silent roads. You have followed the river that remembers. You have heard the breath of Rome through water and wind. Let the current hold your dreams. Let the stars keep watch. And may the Tiber carry your rest gently all the way home. The midnight market, the night deepens, but it does not grow silent. Rome has always been a city that breathes beyond the daylight. And now, with the moon high in the sky and the streets bathed in silver light, you walk softly through a quieter Rome, one known only to those who do not fear the dark. Your footsteps echo gently along worn stones, the kind that have known sandals and chariot wheels, bare feet and armored boots. Now they carry you, alone and unhurried, through the belly of a sleeping empire. And up ahead, tucked behind a vine-covered archway, you see it, a soft, golden flicker of firelight. You've found the midnight market. Not every Roman sleeps through the night. Here, in the quiet quarter near the Aventine, a cluster of late stalls hung softly in the dark. This is no daytime chaos, no shouting vendors or clanging scales. This market is half whisper, half shadow. Torches burn low in sconces. They cast rippling light over baskets of fruit, folded fabrics, jars of oil, and scrolls tied with string. Lanterns dangle from ropes between beams, their flames dancing behind colored glass. You step into the warm glow, and suddenly the world feels wrapped in gold. A few vendors remain, not rushed, not weary, but deliberate. At another stall, you find carved wooden combs and hand mirrors of polished bronze. A child, barely more than 10, is arranging them carefully on a cloth. She doesn't speak, just watches your eyes and mimics your curiosity. She hums a tune you don't recognize, and when she notices you, she gestures with a nod to try one. The scent of spiced wine drifts up, cloves, cinnamon, and a hint of orange peel. He pours a cup and hands it to you, warm and fragrant. You do. An elderly woman behind a stall is slicing dates and filling them with crushed almonds and honey. Their movements are slow and patient, as if time has thickened with the night air. It's meant to ease. It's warm, soft, and sweet. He simply plays. Just sound, gentle and warm and content to go nowhere. To warm the belly. To quiet the mind. He closes his eyes, swaying slightly, the firelight dancing on the bronze of his instrument. She smiles, not in greeting, but in understanding. You move along slowly, letting your fingers trail along baskets of figs and olives, feeling the texture of dyed cloths, indigo, saffron, deep crimson. You offer a coin, and she beams, offering you a tiny wrapped package of rosemary soap as a gift. You thank her with your silence. Further in, a man is tending to a brazier, its coals glowing orange beneath a copper pot. You take it and sip slowly. Or perhaps it's the simple, comforting truth that for this small patch of the world, in this small slice of the night, nothing is expected of you. It's not meant to intoxicate, to calm the throat. You walk with the cup in hand now, strolling past merchants who barely look up, content in their rhythm, folding cloth, wrapping herbs, weighing dried fruit. You come to a small clearing, lit by only 3 lanterns and a clay fireball in the center. There, sitting cross-legged with a lyre across his lap, is a musician. You pass a small shrine to Mercury, god of travelers and merchants, with a candle still flickering at its base. You leave a tiny offering, not a coin, but the last bite of your bread. He doesn't announce his presence. The baker, wrapped in a wool cloak, hands you a small roll without speaking. The notes drift into the air like breath, soft, slow, meandering. Not a performance, not even a song. A fisherman nearby pulls in his net and waves without a word. A pair of stray dogs chase each other silently near the water's edge, kicking up mist as they run. You sit on a stone ledge nearby, sipping your wine, listening. His fingers pluck at the strings like a conversation with the dark. No one claps. The soft scrape of his blade on wood is as soothing as the lyre was moments before. No one talks. Everyone simply exists in the same soft stillness. Time slows even more. Perhaps it's the heat from the brazier. Perhaps it's the music. You place your cup down, and you walk again. You pass a vendor stacking scrolls wrapped in linen. Another sits cross-legged, carving a wooden statue, perhaps of Minerva or a dancing faun. It's hard to tell in the flickering light. There's a basket of freshly baked bread, still warm, scented with rosemary and olives. You break it in half. Steam escapes into the night. You eat slowly as you wander. Now the stalls begin to thin. A few are already packed up. Some vendors sit quietly behind their tables, wrapped in blankets, waiting for sleep to claim them too. The air cools again as you walk toward the edge of the market. The torches grow fewer. The music fades behind you. And then the soft hum of the Tiber River returns, like a lullaby underneath the city. You reach the stone embankment. The river glides by slowly, its surface touched by moonlight and the golden halo of distant torches. You sit on the low stone wall and watch the current move. No one else is near you now. You are alone, in the most comforting sense of the word. Not lonely, just still. The kind of stillness that reaches deeper than sleep. You close your eyes for a moment. Behind your eyelids, the shapes and sounds of the market remain. Glowing lanterns, slow music, the warmth of spiced wine, the hush of voices and quiet smiles. You breathe in slowly, the scent of herbs and ash. You exhale, the weight of the day. Sleep now, gentle wanderer. You have walked among the quiet fires and silent merchants. You have felt Rome's heartbeat at its softest, not in stone or sword, but in the hush between footsteps. Let your breath be steady like the river. Let your thoughts flicker like lantern light. And may your dreams carry the calm of a midnight market that never truly closes. Baths beneath the stars, you've wandered far through the peaceful streets of Rome, guided by moonlight and the quiet rhythm of your steps. The heart of the city has faded behind you, and in its place rises a warm mist, curling over cobblestones like soft breath. You follow the warmth as it thickens in the air, until the shadows part and reveal towering archways wrapped in torchlight. You've arrived at the Thermae, the grand Roman baths. Open tonight not for the crowd or ceremony, but for silence, stillness, and sleep. The courtyard before you is calm and glowing, with gentle firelight flickering against stone columns and a shallow pool reflecting the stars. You pass beneath a marble arch, where the temperature rises slightly, scented with lavender, cedar, and something faintly floral, a hint of crushed herbs lingering in the air. The silence is alive, pulsing with the slow rhythm of dripping water and the soft echo of your own breath. The heat radiates from the marble beneath you, and the air clings softly to your skin. On a nearby table, a linen towel waits beside a bowl of cool rose water. You dip a cloth in and press it to your face. The contrast between hot and cold awakens your senses, not in a jarring way, but like a whisper reminding you that you are alive and here and safe. Somewhere, a bowl of scented oil is tipped gently, releasing the aroma of clove and myrrh into the steam. A breeze floats through the archway from the outer courtyard, bringing with it a hint of fig leaves and night-blooming flowers. Somewhere in the distance, a lyre plays, slow, improvised, meant for no one in particular. You don't move. You don't need to. You are already held by the moment. The music is faint, almost imagined, but it is enough. Everything you carry, tension, noise, memory, evaporates into the mist. The sound of the city fades entirely now. All you can hear is water, flowing, echoing softly through vaulted chambers beyond. But now you are lighter, quieter. You follow a long corridor where frescoes line the walls. Neptune, dolphins, and sea nymphs painted in faded blues and reds, whispering ancient tales through color. The same room you entered first now feels different, more sacred, more intimate, the same shadows. Not even the attendants. You sit once again by the water, watching steam rise lazily into the lamplit air. There is no one else here. You sit quietly on the edge, feeling the cool stone beneath you, letting the silence settle again in your chest. Just you, the water, and the quiet breath of the walls around you. The scent shifts now. Mint, pine, something clean and brisk. You enter the frigidarium, the cold pool chamber, built for balance, built for breath. The water here is still, flat as glass. Arched windows above reveal the night sky in full. At the far end of the corridor, mist curls beneath a heavy curtain. As your body adjusts, you feel clear, almost weightless. The water encircles you like a ribbon of wind. The sky above seems even closer now. You float there, surrounded by stars, embraced by stillness. The cold pool doesn't take energy from you. It gives it back in a new, softer form. Not movement, not urgency. Just awareness. You step through it and feel the heat embrace you. You ease down beside the central pool and dip your hand into the water. Inside, the tepidarium awaits, the warm room, gentle and welcoming. Your footsteps make no sound on the smooth floor as you enter. Walls of pale stone are lit with oil lamps, casting soft shadows over mosaics of fish and sea deities. The air here is thick with calm. It is warm, just enough to soothe your skin and melt away the dust of your long walk. Steam swirls around your body, and your breath deepens instinctively. You sit there for a while, feet in the water, eyes on the quiet flames dancing across the tiles. When you rise, it is not out of urgency, but curiosity. You've entered the caldarium, the hot room. A round pool of water shimmers ahead, fed by warm springs below. You ease yourself in, inch by inch, until your body floats in perfect suspension. You close your eyes, and above you, through a wide oculus in the ceiling, the stars stare down, undisturbed and brilliant. Moonlight spills directly into the pool, creating a silver glow across the surface. It feels like bathing inside a dream. The water holds you like a cradle. Time vanishes here. You feel each muscle soften, each thought drift. Eventually, you lift yourself from the water and sit on a nearby bench. When you stand again, you follow a smaller hallway, its floor covered in mosaic waves. You ease into the water. It is cold, not shockingly so, but enough to wake the mind from its haze. When you rise again, a final chamber awaits. You walk barefoot now, following the torches that guide you back to the tepidarum. You lie back on a marble bench, wrapped loosely in linen. Now the baths begin to dim. The flames burn lower. The steam fades gently from the air. You feel the marble beneath you, solid, eternal, and the breath in your lungs, soft, steady. You have become part of the space, no longer a visitor, but something woven into the stillness itself. Sleep now, wanderer of stone and silence. You have floated beneath ancient stars, warmed your spirit in sacred waters, and whispered your worries into the steam. Let your breath flow like the fountain. Let your thoughts slow like cooling mist. And may your dreams carry the quiet of the Roman baths, where time and tension disappear. The library of quiet flames, the streets are nearly silent now. Rome has settled into sleep, and only the soft hush of your footsteps remains. You walk beneath archways draped in ivy, past statues half hidden in shadow. The lanterns that once flickered in every window have dimmed, and the breeze carries only a faint whisper, as if the city is breathing gently in its rest. Ahead, tucked into a quiet corner of the Palatine Hill, stands a building of marble and cedarwood, tall, elegant, and utterly still. The flame above its door burns lower than usual, but it still glows. Tonight, its doors are unlocked, waiting for someone who walks not in haste, but in reverence. You approach slowly, the silence deepening with every step. This is the library of Aurelius, known only to scholars, scribes, and dreamers. The shelves are carved with symbols, owls, olive branches, and stars. The spines of the scrolls are labeled in Latin, Greek, and even Egyptian script, their ink faded but still legible under the low light. You press your hand to the cool bronze handle, and the door swings open without a sound. Someone was here earlier, writing, thinking, dreaming, and perhaps they simply fell asleep in the chair near the fire. You glance that way and see the chair now empty, a cup of wine half full beside it, untouched and content. The fire nearby crackles gently, casting light on the scrolls above. You don't need to read them aloud. You just trace the lines with your eyes, letting the meaning soak in through silence. They speak of the moon and the tides, of longing and peace, of sleep that folds around the body like velvet. Your eyes drift upward, and for a moment you imagine each volume as a glowing ember of memory, floating in space, each containing a dream not yet spoken aloud. There's a gentle crackle of flames in a brazier, the creak of wood under its own weight, the faint rustle of paper shifting somewhere deep within the stacks. Each step creaks softly, not in protest, but as if welcoming you to the next chapter of this quiet world. The second level is narrower, with lower ceilings and smaller windows. But it holds different treasures, shelves of scrolls wrapped in silk, and small wooden boxes filled with rare inkstones and quills made from the feathers of swans and cranes. Inside, the air is warm and dry, scented with old parchment, melted wax, and ancient cedar. You sit again, this time beneath the stars, and feel the closeness of the library around you, like walls that listen, shelves that hold not just stories, but secrets. Oil lamps hang along the walls in glass lanterns that tint the room with a soft amber glow. The light is low. The walls stretch upward, impossibly high, lined from floor to ceiling with scrolls and bound volumes tucked into niches. And it remembers. You pause just inside the threshold, letting your eyes adjust. It's quiet, yes, but not silent. The library lives. Not right away. You walk slowly through the aisles, each step softened by a carpet of woven wool. You don't read them yet. It leads downward gently, lit by tall, narrow lanterns embedded into the wall. There are no desks here, no quills or ink, just soft couches, soft light, and soft silence. Human, timeless. The hallway opens into a reading chamber, round, low-ceilinged, with cushions arranged in a wide circle around a central hearth. It speaks not of war or politics, but of the garden he's building, the figs he's planting, the way the wind sounds between the olive trees at dusk. It is gentle. You are in no hurry. Instead, you let your fingers trail along the edge of a wooden desk, past an open inkpot and a half-written scroll. You settle into the chair. It is peaceful, expectant, like the moment before a dream begins. Your eyes trace the path of Orion, of Cassiopeia, of the Great Bear. And for a moment, the ceiling seems to disappear entirely, and you're floating, not in the library, but in space itself, weightless and quiet. It fits you perfectly, worn just enough to embrace your shape. A scroll lies unrolled across the table. It's a collection of poems, soft, lyrical, written in a hand you don't recognize. One line reads, "The night is not darkness, but a gentle reminder that stars are always watching." This one is a letter, written long ago by a Roman philosopher to his friend in the countryside. You breathe in slowly, letting the words settle inside you. Eventually, you rise and explore deeper. A spiral staircase made of polished wood leads you upward, its banister smooth beneath your hand. You imagine the scrolls resting beside them, like friends too loyal to speak unless asked. A single desk sits near a narrow window where moonlight spills onto the floor like silver paint. Here, you open another scroll. You smile softly, warmed by its simplicity. Everything here is loved, and the breeze carries the softest sound, the crackle of flames still burning somewhere behind you. Outside the narrow window, the city is nearly invisible. Only a few rooftops shimmer in the moonlight, and beyond them, darkness. But it is not a lonely darkness. You stay here for a while, breathing, thinking nothing, needing nothing, just being. When you rise again, you descend not the staircase, but another path, a hallway tucked behind the upper shelves. The fire here burns low, the coals deep red, and the light flickering gently across polished marble tiles. Several scrolls lie open on stands, waiting. You lie down on one. It supports your body completely. The air smells of rosemary and warm parchment. You stare upward. The ceiling above is painted like the night sky. Stars mapped in gold leaf, constellations drawn in delicate ink. Somewhere in the distance, a page is turned. Or maybe it's just the fire shifting. The flames crackle again, not loud, but rhythmic, soothing, reassuring. You let your eyes close and listen. You listen to the stories that aren't being read, the ones that live in silence, the ones you feel more than hear, the ones written not with ink, but with stillness. You imagine the scribes who spent their nights here, writing by lamplight, wrapped in cloaks, whispering poems to themselves while the city slept. Here, you are not alone. You are not awake. You are not asleep. You are exactly where you need to be. Eventually, you rise once more and walk back toward the entrance. The library has dimmed now, the flames burning lower, the shadows stretching longer, but the warmth remains. The peace remains. You place one hand gently on the scroll you last read, then carefully roll it closed and set it back in its place. Everything here is sacred. As you step back through the main doors into the Roman night, the moon greets you with silver light. Sleep now, reader of the quiet flame. You have walked through a place where silence holds the truth, where stories breathe in shadow and ink. Let your mind drift like parchment in warm wind. Let your thoughts fade like candlelight on stone, and may your dreams carry you to shelves still unwritten, where your heart writes without words. The first light over the 7 hills, you awaken gently, not from sound, but from a subtle shift in the night air. Above you, the stars are slowly dimming, their soft light retreating into the coming dawn. The city of Rome below you lies in shadow, still asleep. Yet far on the eastern horizon, a thin line of gold begins to glow. The first light of morning has arrived, so gently that it feels like a secret. You walk quietly to the edge of the roof, where you can see the city stretching into the distance, soft and endless. The sky is no longer black, but a deep blue-gray, the color of silk before the sun. The candles here are still burning, but their flames are faint beside the rising sun. The breeze is crisp and carries the smell of bread from a nearby oven. A cat slips quietly between buildings. A cart loaded with firewood creaks past, a mule pulling it blinking sleepily in the soft light. The water flows calmly, glowing gold in the morning light. The bridge ahead is empty, just a single fisherman casting his line with practiced ease. Here, surrounded by vines and stone benches, you find a place to sit. You let your shoulders relax. You feel the marble warm beneath you. The garden is still shaded, but light is reaching in slowly. The sunlight breaks through in beams now, slipping between the columns and touching your skin. It feels like a blessing, like something ancient and kind. The sounds layer gently, not as alarms, but as invitations. The city is waking. You step onto the stones and pause at the center. The gardens, the temples, the rooftops, all of them now gently lit by the sun. You carry them with you, not as memories, but as pieces of the night itself. You walk to the edge of the terrace for one last look. The city stretches endlessly. Rome, beautiful in day, but unforgettable in night. The river moves beneath you like liquid sunlight, and the breeze touches your face like a whisper. The warmth beneath your fingertips is real, grounding, steady. You smile, not with your lips, but from deep inside. A child peeks out from behind a doorway, holding a warm loaf of bread. No one speaks. The smoke of morning fires drifts lazily into the air. Everything feels slow, natural, effortless. There's no rush. Someone laughs softly behind a curtain. The day has arrived exactly on time. The rooftops and domes all bathed in early light. The view is golden. The breeze is light. And the city has offered you one final gift, stillness, even in motion. It's morning in Rome, but not just any morning. One that has followed a night of wandering, peace, and ancient dreams. The horizon glows brighter now, and the warmth grows stronger on your skin. Not for anything in particular, but for the sound of morning itself. Birds singing in scattered rhythms. The faint sweep of a broom on stone. The first bell of the day ringing softly in the distance. Rome is stretching its arms. Rome looks eternal, and in this moment, peaceful. Nothing to fix, nothing to prepare. Just you, the light, and this moment. You have walked the city through its deepest silence. Now you're watching it return. There is peace in these small motions. Birds begin to call out to one another from the rooftops. You give one last bow to the goddess of night, whose carved expression remains as calm as ever, and then you step into the open world. You're still lying on the rooftop of the temple, wrapped in linen, the stones beneath you cool but comforting. The silence is still complete, but it carries a new feeling now, anticipation. You rise slowly, without rush. One by one, the 7 hills begin to catch the sun. The Palatine is the first, its temples and gardens glowing in a warm pink hue. Arches stretch high and proud, no longer hidden in the night. The aqueducts that carried water through the empire now glow with purpose again, touched by dawn. Then the Capitoline, with its statues and stone steps coming to life in gold. The scent of rosemary and lavender still lingers in the air, gently warmed by the first sunbeams. As you descend from the rooftop, The stone beneath your feet is no longer cold. It welcomes you. The Aventine follows, its rooftops bathed in quiet amber. You watch from your perch above it all as the entire city gradually wakes. The rooftops shimmer in morning light. Domes reflect the sun like polished bronze. Columns cast long shadows over the streets. You step away from the edge, back through the rooftop garden. The herbs rustle softly in the morning breeze. You pass once more through the inner chamber of the temple. Outside, the city feels different. It hasn't fully awakened, but it's no longer asleep. You walk slowly through the quiet streets. A shopkeeper lifts a wooden shutter with a yawn. You turn toward the Tiber River. From this point, you can see the entire city. Temples on hills, columns in forums, statues watching over courtyards. You cross the bridge and make your way to a small terrace that overlooks the city. You close your eyes and listen. You take a long breath, letting it fill your chest completely before releasing it slowly. There's nothing to chase. A breeze moves through the terrace, brushing across the ivy and making the leaves dance. You think back to the places you've wandered, the baths where the stars shone through the ceiling, the library where silence held every story. The bells chime again, a little louder now. Another joins it from farther away. Below the terrace, a vendor rolls out a cart of fruit. You sit quietly for a while longer. There's no reason to leave just yet. The sun is above the rooftops now. The shadows have shortened. The sky is pale blue, streaked with gold. You rise slowly from the bench. Your body feels rested, your mind light. You place one hand gently on the stone railing. There are no words needed now. You turn from the view, walk down the garden path, and carry the night with you, a soft silence that will never leave. Sleep now, dreamer of the eternal city. You've walked its hills, bathed in its light, and listened to its quietest hour. Let your breath flow like the river. Let your mind rest beneath the stars. And may the peace of ancient Rome remain with you always.